I will start with the stock question on what happened in the world of golf this week. I don't think we learned anything new, but it certainly felt like a lot of news. What did you make of everything that's come out in the last couple of days here, Bo?
Well, I think, like you said, I don't think there were any groundbreaking aha moments. I think that obviously the powers that be were trying to get a deal done to try to bring golf back together. And, maybe I think anything I think it's always easy to look back and go, I wish these guys would have done it this way or that way. But I think no matter how they came to a deal or at least a framework agreement, somebody was going to be ticked off about it. So I don't think there was any big aha moments. But, it'll be interesting. I still think there's more questions than answers as of right now. I think that's why when you see some of the quotes from the players that they're, they just don't really know. I think everybody's trying to get somebody's opinion, but it's hard to have an opinion on something until you see kind of, the devil's always in the details. And so without the details really being released or kind of what pro golf's going to look like if this merger goes through, I think it's hard to really have a concrete opinion on things.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are scared that the devil is definitely lurking in the details, depending on which side of things you fall with this. And
very good point.
Thank you. And I should mention, good luck to you this afternoon. I know you're teeing it up at the Barbasol. In terms of the changes that could be coming, like you said, we're all just kind of in this holding pattern. And I think so much of it is that professional golf is such a big game, right? I mean, so much of it is focused on the absolute top of the pecking order, and I think rightfully so when you're looking at guys like Tiger and Rory or, JT, guys like that. But professional golf encompasses a lot of players, including guys like yourself who are playing this week in an opposite field event. Like, how much do you think about kind of the place that players like yourself will kind of take up in the game going forward? Because it seems like a lot of the discussions we hear having are about the top 1% of the 1% of pro golf.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm 48 now. I've been at professional golf 25 years. And I guess I'm in, when you've done it as long as I have, I've pretty much been in every category. I've been ranked in the top 20. I've been a top 50 guy. I've been a guy barely keep his card. So I think just about every scenario in the golf world, professional golf, I've lived it the last 25 years. So I don't think there's any doubt that the guys at the top are the ones that are driving the paychecks. And really most of my career was Tiger Woods. We're 6 months apart in age. So, he was kind of the bell cow that was, everything kind of fell in line behind him and whatever he was doing, and that kind of drove the market. And we all knew that. There was none. I used to laugh. I said, all of us should write him a check at the end of the year because we're all making more money because of him. And so you had no problem with that. So I think, but you're right, golf is big. And I think that's one of the biggest things is I just hope that with all this new money that might be coming into golf that, look, everybody knows golf's trying to get the best players to play at the same time more often. I mean, we all get that. But I also think you got to make sure you don't close that off to where there's not opportunities for the new young players that nobody knows about to get to that top. And I think to me, that's the devil in the details because it can't just be handpicked. You can't just say, hey, this kid had a great amateur career, so we're going to give him so many chances to where he's automatically going to make it. I think that's one of the greatest things about golf. And one thing I fell in love with was I was a kid from Richmond, Indiana that walked on at Oklahoma State. My nickname was Bogey my first 2 years of college. And by the end, by the end, I was a first-team All-American, and I got my PGA Tour card right out of college first year. So, when I went to Q school, it didn't matter what your name is or what your resume was. If you shot the score, you could get on the PGA Tour. And so I just hope that we don't lose that in trying to, not manipulate, but just not force feed and say, okay, we're going to pick these guys and we're just going to have these guys play together because, look, I lived it. I was in that top 50 for probably 4 or 5 years straight, but it fluctuates all the time just because, guys play worse. I got hurt, different things. So I think that's the part where you want all the best players together, but you also have to have room in there to where the natural fluctuations of the game of golf can happen as well, to where there's new blood always coming in.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the biggest complaints about LIV is what you were just talking about there, was just like then they just get the money. They haven't had to earn their right to get there, right? And I think that's why a lot of guys were perturbed about it. And what you said there is just a beautiful thing about golf. The better you play, you can get anywhere you need to go. Like if you a 5 handicap and below, you can get into the Canadian Open if you play well enough. Like that's the beautiful thing about the game that I hope it doesn't get lost here.
No, for sure. And I think that's, and like to me, you never had to apologize for the amount of money you made at the end of the year because you went out and beat the other best players in the world to do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, hey, look, this guy signed a $20 million contract. He played the first 2 weeks and then, hurt his toe and then didn't play, but yet he got the same amount of money. Mm-hmm. We never lived that life. And so I think that's a special thing about golf. And I hope it doesn't just always get lost.
Yeah, I don't expect that it will because I think you're right. We all kind of love that meritocracy, and the reason my co-host here had that number so ready at +5 is because just lurking outside, could nearly get there to qualify. Try to get there. I know you're playing in the Barbasol this week, but obviously you've had a lot of experience playing links golf. Obviously, Scottish Open going on this weekend, Open Championship next. I wonder what this kind of turn in the season is like for you as a player. I'm not going to profess to be a big tennis guy, but I know they go through this all year long. You got your hard court season, and it's clay and it's grass. Golf doesn't quite have that. I mean, I know we have different greens to putt on with POA or Bermuda or whatever, but this is the real kind of different test in golf. What's it like as a player to kind of prepare your mind or maybe your body to play links golf as opposed to what you see kind of week in, week out on the PGA Tour?
Well, I think it is a big mental thing. I think there was guys that just never liked links golf that, you knew that they weren't going to play well, or they'd go over there to the Open Championship with a bad attitude. You could see guys on Monday, Tuesday, they were like, whether it be the place they were staying or the food or just the speed of the greens, that, guys would complain. And then other guys that embraced it just seemed like those were the guys that played well every year. Mm-hmm. And I was laughing thinking about this call today, and I thought, it's amazing to me. It used to be Loch Lomond was the week before the Open Championship, which it's a great golf course, but it's not a links course. And I thought, how did that ever happen? Like, of all the dumb things in golf, like there should have always been a links golf course the week before the Open Championship if guys wanted to play. And now that you see this great field that the Scottish Open gets, which is awesome. Like, it's like, of all the things that you were like, that's the easiest layup that should have been happening for the last 40 years. So I'm glad they finally got that right. But no, I think to me, I always looked at it like it was a fun challenge because it was the 1 week a year that you got to do it. And so to me, it was a new challenge to like, hey, can I hit a 5-iron from 160 yards and keep it on the ground? And, can my lag putting get really good from, 90 to 100 feet, like on these double greens at St. Andrews? So to me, it was fun. I always loved it. I had some decent finishes. I think I played 7 or 8 of them. I actually played Hoylake in 06. I missed the cut that week. Just kind of played okay, and then I hit it in the lip of a bunker on like 15 and left it in there. I think I ended up missing by a shot or two. But it's a fun links course. I mean, it's a true links golf course. I remember 06 was the year when Tiger won, and I mean, if you look at the old videos, they'll show them. I mean, it was crispy. I mean, it looked like burnt toast and the fairways. So it'll be a great week. I think, you look at Rory's already off to a good start this week at the Scottish. He won there in 14. So, maybe he gets off his major slide this week, going back to a place where he's had success, which will be great for golf.
Do you have a favorite of the Open Rota courses? I mean, I know you just mentioned a couple of memories you have, but in terms of the ones you've got to play, I mean, I know St. Andrews is kind of special in and of itself, but is there one other, or is it maybe just St. Andrews that just does stand above the others?
I thought it was funny. I was talking about yesterday, but I thought Muirfield was probably the best golf. If you just went, hey, the best golf course I played there, I felt like it was every club in the bag. I mean, it was just, kind of a little bit of everything, and I just thought it challenged every part of your game. But 05, I played 05 and 10 at St. Andrews, and 05, my dad was there with me. I got to see Nicholas putt out on 18, and then Saturday and Sunday I played with Fred Couples.
Wow.
Who ended up playing, I think he finished third, and I drove it on the green and made a 2 on 18. So that was like, pretty much was like, I could just quit golf at that point. I was like, this is, that was about as good as it got for me right there. So I would have to say my best memories are probably St. Andrews. And the town, I think that's the thing. Not only the course has history, but just, I mean, everybody saw it last year with it being the 150th, but the way the town embraces it and the way it creates its own kind of amphitheater coming down the stretch is just so unique that it's hard to beat St. Andrews.
Yeah, what's the bar there? Is it the Dunvegan?
The Dunvegan, yeah.
The Dunvegan, and then there's one up the street about 2 blocks called the Way Pat Tavern, where a lot of the caddies hang out. So we used to sneak in there. It's kind of a hidden gem.
Oh,
I was going to say, don't get me wrong. You players are fun, but I got to imagine that's the more fun pub where the caddies are hanging out. I got to be honest, Bo.
You drove it on the green and putted it in for 2 on 18 on the round 4. You know who would have liked that a lot would be Rory last year. He would have really loved that result.
He would have sure taken that. Bo, before we get you out of here, can you tell us about the app you're working with, Rabbit Cards?
Yeah, so it was my idea a couple years ago when I came back from getting injured, and basically I was playing in Vegas, and they were setting up some cameras on one of the par threes, and to do some live feeds on par threes. And I remember back to when I was a kid, we would go to the Memorial Tournament, and we'd sit by the green, and we'd watch guys come up, and you couldn't really see who the player was. You're like, I'll take the guy in the blue shirt, and my buddy'd say, I'll take the guy with the visor, and we'd go closest to the pin on par threes. And for the last 25 years, we go play these tournaments, whether it's the 16th at Phoenix or, Sawgrass, and everybody sits on these par threes and they gamble on who's going to be close to the pin. And I said, well, why don't we just build an app to do that? And so that's what we did. I got some great partners from Tulsa and a company called Freeform. And so we got a 3-year deal with the PGA Tour using the ShotLink data. And we built a free-to-play app called Rabbit Cards. And you download it, and you make your picks. We do 12 groups a day, so 3 groups per par 3, and you pick your closest to the pin. And we got some great prizes. Where right now, Callaway and Stitch are giving away prizes. We got Bushnell coming on board. It's been a lot of fun. I think we want people to have that experience that they have that one day or 1 week a year when the PGA tournament comes to town, or whether they're at the rink in Canada. It's same kind of concept. So it's been a lot of fun. So we'd love to blow it out in Canada and have a bunch of people download Rabbit Cards and compete for our prizes.
That's awesome, because I went to the RBC Canadian Open obviously this year, and I sat on 17. I was with my wife though, but the 2 guys beside me literally sat there for 2.5 hours and gambled on closest to the pin. They did that for legitimate. They're like $5 here, $5 here. Like, it was just like they did it the entire time. So there you go.
Yeah, very, very willing participant base there, including maybe the 2 guys you're talking to
100%.
right now. I've definitely bought someone a beer for being wrong, and I've definitely got one for being right. Bo, good luck today. Really, really appreciate you jumping on. And we barely like doing this when we got to play a casual round of golf. You're going to go play in a tournament. So thanks so much. Go low, Bo.
Hey, thanks, man. Y'all have a good one.
There he goes, Bo Van Pelt.